The bustling streets of Delhi hold countless secrets, but few are as chilling as the haunting tale of Agrasen ki Baoli. Hidden amidst the chaos of the modern city lies this ancient stepwell, a structure so old that its origins remain shrouded in mystery. Though thousands visit it during the day to admire its architectural beauty, few dare to stay after sunset. Why? Because the Baoli, they say, holds a darkness that whispers, watches, and waits. The story begins centuries ago, during the reign of a king named Agrasen. Legend has it that this stepwell was built to provide water to the people during times of drought. The structure, with its 108 steep stone steps, is a marvel of ancient engineering. But over time, it became more than a source of water. It became a place of worship, of rituals, and eventually, a portal to the unknown. One particular tale haunts the Baoli to this day. It was said that during a time of despair, when famine struck the region, the waters of Agrasen ki Baoli turned black as ink. This water was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It shimmered unnaturally, as though alive. The villagers, desperate and broken, believed the Baoli had been cursed by the spirits of those who had perished during the famine. Rumors began to spread of a voice rising from the dark waters, calling to those who ventured too close. The voice was seductive, promising relief from their suffering. "Come closer," it whispered. "Find peace in the waters." Many ignored the warnings of the elders and were drawn in by the voice. One by one, they jumped into the Baoli, their bodies never resurfacing. What terrified the villagers most was that the waters seemed to thrive on their deaths, growing darker and more menacing with each sacrifice. The Baoli's dark reputation continued to grow over the centuries. Even after the famine ended and the stepwell dried up, people spoke of ghostly apparitions that roamed its stone corridors at night. Some claimed to hear faint laughter echoing through the empty structure. Others reported seeing shadowy figures sitting on the steps, their eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. But one incident, in particular, turned Agrasen ki Baoli into a legend of terror. In the 1980s, a group of college students decided to explore the Baoli at night. They had heard the stories but laughed them off as superstitions. Armed with flashlights and cameras, they entered the Baoli just as the city lights dimmed and the moon rose high in the sky. The first few steps were uneventful. The group joked and took pictures, marveling at the ancient structure. But as they descended deeper, a strange stillness settled over the air. The sounds of the bustling city faded away, replaced by an oppressive silence. One of the students, a young man named Rajiv, stopped suddenly. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice trembling. The others laughed nervously. "Hear what?" "A splash," Rajiv whispered. "Like someone jumping into the water." They shined their flashlights down the well, but it was dry, just as they knew it would be. Still, the sound of splashing continued, growing louder, more insistent. Then came the whispers. Soft, unintelligible at first, they seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. As the students stood frozen, the whispers grew louder, forming words, "Come to us. Join us." Panic set in. The group decided to leave, but as they turned to climb back up, they realized they weren't alone. Sitting on the steps above them were shadowy figures, their faces obscured, their bodies motionless. The figures didn't move, but their presence was suffocating. The students could feel cold eyes watching them, drilling into their very souls. Rajiv screamed and bolted up the steps. The others followed, their breaths ragged, their hearts pounding. But as they climbed, the Baoli seemed endless, the steps stretching on forever. The whispers turned into mocking laughter, and the shadows followed, closing in. Finally, they stumbled out into the open air, collapsing onto the ground. When they looked back, the Baoli was silent and empty, as if nothing had happened. But the group was never the same. Rajiv, the bravest of them all, was found dead in his home a week later, his face frozen in a look of terror. Since that night, Agrasen Ki Baoli has been a place of fascination for thrill seekers and ghost hunters. Many claim to have felt an unseen presence or heard the eerie whispers of the Baoli's dark waters. To this day, the truth remains buried in its ancient stones. Was it the despair of those who perished here that gave rise to its dark reputation, or does Agrasen Ki Baoli hold a deeper, more sinister secret? One thing is certain: if you ever find yourself walking its steps as the sun sets, you might hear the whispers too. And if you're not careful, you might never return.